We can say everything we want to do, we can say everything we're gonna do, but it's actually when the rubber meets the road and then we begin to plan what we are actually going to do, people show up. They show up differently.
Yeah.
Right? And this week we want to tell a little bit about, we had this amazing experience with a group on retreat, and Tim used the term, we found them very trustworthy. And so we wanted to kind of unpack that a little bit.
Right.
What does it mean for us to
Right.
find a group to be trustworthy?
Right, and I think it's not just the group was trustworthy. I actually think it's more about the circumstance we created made it a trustworthy process.
In our lingo, a container that was
That's right.
trustworthy, right?
Yeah. We talk about containers
Right.
a lot. Yeah.
Which then allows the folks to show up kind of in some ways as their best selves, to feel like they don't necessarily have to defend their agendas. They don't necessarily have to kind of entrench or make sure that their points are heard. We've had this whole process leading up to something. They've gotten great information to work with and chew on, right? And then their job is simply to go make it actionable. And people love that. People love, right, that point where you're like, okay, we've talked about it a lot. Now let's go take action.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think we have a consistent experience of people rising to the occasion when you make the right conditions, right? You know, and like, so there's a massive piece of our work that is about creating the conditions for people to have the best chances of success as possible. Now, it doesn't guarantee it ever, because we're dealing in like highly complex, highly volatile circumstances usually, but we're working over significant periods of time to create the right conditions, to build the right foundation for us to move from the kind of relational strategic piece into the actual delivery of systems change work. And so it's you know, self-organization I really think is a myth, you know, like because it has to be about create the conditions for people to be able to self-organize within, and that's like strategic work. That's hard work. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on. There's a lot of engaging with different stakeholder groups to get the necessary trust to even be in the room and talking to each other. And like we ended up with 32 to 35 people. That was original list of over 100 people. You know, so there's a lot of hard decisions to make about who comes and are they in the right place and are they ready for collaboration, or do they think they've already got it figured out? Because if you've already got it figured out, there's no point coming to a retreat that's about collaborating to build the future, right? Because then all you're doing is spending all of your time telling everybody what you've already figured out. It's like, that's not the right person, no matter how brilliant of a leader they are or how much success they've had.
That's right. And so it's the conditions leading up to, but it's also the conditions during the retreat, right? Folks had the opportunity to talk with each other and see each other and begin to build together. Folks could see, oh, this is how we're going from A to B to C. And so that makes them trust each other more.
The fact that the senior leaders who are in the room for the whole retreat, you know, they're already on side and they're on board, right? We've done the work with them around what are the conditions that you need to have in place so you can let go of control. So when you hit those major decision points that you were just pointing to, all the heads swivel towards the senior leaders, and you don't get a nod, you don't get a shake, you just get people who are really comfortable with the circumstance. And then all the heads swivel back and they're like, oh, all right, there's no major reaction over there. I guess this is ours to do.
Yeah.
You know, and like that's huge, because what you begin to see is a fundamental shift in the power dynamics and in the hierarchies that are able to deliver on the work. Suddenly we're in it together, and we're not looking to the senior leader or whoever else it might be to solve this problem for us or give us permission, because the boundary of permission has been established prior to even getting to the event.
It doesn't mean that people show up as trustworthy people or not. That's what makes a group trustworthy. What we're talking about is actually setting the conditions upon which people can show up and be their most trustworthy selves, because things have been set in place that give them some ability to do that, give them some ability to trust, give them some ability to do work together, see that it's impactful, see that we're actually going to have some integrity around power, and then move forward.